Nat 20. Hi folks, Merlin here, bringing you another Dungeons & Dragons adventure video. Moving along with Delivery 4, we're going to be taking a look at issue 12 today. So that is the start of our second set of adventures. So yeah, all of these adventures will be done for second and I'm gonna guess third level in the later part, much like we saw with the first set of adventures. Yeah, it's going to be a pretty good series going forward. We got some classic D&D adversaries we'll be facing soon, and we're going to get started with issue 12 and we fight off against the undead, because what good fantasy adventure doesn't have a fight against the undead? And in this case we're up against some ghouls, but we also have a wonderful little handy guide to magic. So spells booklet 1 of 4 apparently. So yeah, cantrips for first level spells. We learn all about how to grapple in game. We of course get our second exclusive adventure, learn about the ghouls, and finally we start getting ready to play Dragonborn, ready for issue 13's new character. Finally then, the issue also comes with a new set of dice, and it's a black and blue set, very similar to the ones we got in issue 1. So yeah, just another generic set of dice. I think next issues are a bit of a better set, so we'll have a look at those, of course, next week. Finally then, before we jump over to the table, don't forget to do all the usual. There's a little like button down there, as well as a subscribe button down here. And if you haven't already, don't forget to check all the links in the video description down below, including the Patreon, where I'll be starting to post exclusive content very soon. Right, without further ado, let's dive in to issue 12. Right, ready to dive into issue 12. So, I've got my dice in the dice tray, we'll roll them in just a sec. We have our cantrips and first level spells for all our wizards, and yeah, pretty nice little booklet. So we'll have a closer look in a sec before we go through the issue. So for the issue then, we have brand new cover art. So we've got our Dragonborn, our wizard, our elf, our rogue there as well. So yeah, pretty cool. So we immerse with how to immerse your players with light and music. We learn to grapple. We have decay, darkness and ghouls. We play a Dragonborn and we start our second adventure. So yeah, really fantastic. Right, let's go roll some dice and we'll take a look at that magic booklet before we start looking through issue 12. So here we have our new set of dice, and yeah, these are just basic black dice with nice blue lettering, I must admit. But pretty much the same as what we got with issue 1, but those are black with red. And yeah, they got a nice glossy finish to them. Numbers are nice and clear. They stand out. So, as usual, we'll give them a couple of rolls just to see how good they can be. And we're off with a 16, 1, 3, 20, 5, 3, and 8. So, not too bad. Pretty good rolling. Right, let's take another throw. Come here. And not as good, a little better in some places. So we got 60, 6, 3, 3, 7, 10, and 3. So yeah, we can definitely say these dice are pretty average. And so we do have that beautiful blue there. It's a really nice blue effect. It's almost like there's a two-tone blue to it, which is pretty cool. That could just be the shadows of the indentations there. A 2, not very good. But yeah, we're definitely gonna put these to use. I do like blue, but as I mentioned at the start of the video, there is a set we get next issue which I think I like a little bit more. Right, moving on, we'll take a look at the spells booklet for cantrips and first level spells. So here we have our cantrips and first level spells booklet. So one of 4 booklets that we will be receiving over the course of the collection. We see a lovely female wizard there, casting a spell, putting some ingredients into a cauldron. Really cool. So D&D spell booklet. As a spellcaster, you will be able to bend the weave to your will for a variety of purposes. Spellcasters have a great many weird and wonderful spells at their disposal in the Forgotten Realms, from those spells that allow you to converse with animals to ones that help you to heal wounds of other members of your party, or can be wielded as weapons in combat. So we've got a list, first of all, of spells by class. So we've got Bard, Cleric, Druid, Paladin, Ranger, Sorcerer, Warlock, and Wizard, and all the spells that they can take. So if we look at the Bard, first of all, the cantrips they can learn are Message, Minion Illusion, Minor Illusion even, I can't read, Vicious Mockery, and their first level spells, Colour Spray, Dissonant Whispers, Healing Word, Longstrider, Tasha's Hideous Laughter. So yeah, pretty cool. Listing each one in alphabetical order is pretty good. Helps you remember what you can take as a specific class. Then we got our actual in-depth article on all the different spells. So in alphabetical order here, our guides to cantrips and first level spells that your spellcasters will meet and use in D&D. So very nicely done. Each spell is broken down quite nicely. So if we look at Eldritch Blast, a very traditional spell. So Warlock, it's an ranged attack, casting time of 1 action, has a 120-foot range, instantaneous duration, components, vocal, and I forget what S is. But yeah, and then it just gives you a description of what the spell does, which is pretty cool. So single hit, they take a 1d10 of force damage. At 5th level, you can cast 2 beams. You can direct the beams at the same target or different ones if you so choose. So it's pretty cool. So yeah, just a really nicely detailed list of all the spells and cantrips. So now we're on to our first level spells, and again A to Z, so it's very easy to find out a specific spell, what you need, and its details. So yeah, really glad we got a little booklet like this. Can't wait for more of them. As it says on the inside of issue 12, we are going to be getting 4 in total, so that'll be quite nice. Yeah. The only thing it's lacking is the loops that the combat booklet actually had. So I'm not too sure how we're going to be able to store this. Maybe they'll give us a correct one in future issues. But yeah, I guess it wouldn't be too hard just to punch some holes through or put it into a little pocket envelope sort of thing, just to keep it safe. Otherwise, yeah, really good booklet. Right then, let's take a look at issue 12. So we'll open the cover on issue 12. So our full contents, we have Adventure 2, Encounter 12, Plight of the Roaming Dead. So we got Sage Advice. We have one page for overview, which is page 16, a guide to dice. Then we have a page for the DM, which is creating an immersive environment. And then finally we have a page for combat, focusing on grappling and shoving. Character creation, we got quite a few pages. We have a look at age, the Dragonborn species, the life domain for the cleric, and the background of folk hero. Finally then we got a bit of lore focusing on the Ghouls. So yeah, issue 12 comes with our first of our spell booklets, which provide details on spells that all our character classes can use. We also get a new set of dice, which, as we've seen, are those basic black ones. Then we've got our QR code for D&D Beyond, and a reminder about binders at the very bottom there. So yeah, good to know we got more stuff to come, especially in the shape of those booklets, which we have coming in very handy. So let's get started with a look at a guide to D&D dice. Some dice are thrown more than others in D&D, but it's essential to know when and how each of them is used in game. So we've had our 7 polyhedral dice, and we've had quite a few by now. We have used the D20 more than anything else, but we do have other dice in our collection and toolbox. So we have, of course, a D4, a D6, a D8, a D10, a D12, and a D20. You'll notice then this box here will mention about percentile dice, and that's what the 2 different D10s are. So we've got one D10 which is all units, and one D10 which is tens. So if we roll them together, we've got 79 there. If we get the 2 and 4, it's 24. If we manage to roll 000, then that counts as a roll of 100. Sorry. But 00 and a 1 is 1, sadly not 100. So critical failure there. One last roll, 24 again. And 26. So moving on, we get to look at the actual dice, and there's a rather pretty nice blue set. That looks like a nice blue clear set. And yeah, can't wait to get those dice. But yeah, we have a look at our D20. So this is the most common used dice, used for armor save, making attacks. Just remember that the 1s are critical failure, but 20s are critical successes. Then we have a D8, so this is commonly used for damage for many weapons, including the rapier, flail, and longsword, and as well as light crossbow. You also will be rolling this for the Cure Wounds spell, and we have quite a few classes and characters that have a hit dice of 1d8. Moving on, we got D12 then, so usually forgotten about by most classes. Usually a barbarian whose hit dice is a D12 will make use of it more than others. And the Great Axe weapon also does 1d12 for damage. In addition to being a dice for devastating weapons, it's used for a rare few spells. Moving on, we've got the common D6 used in board games around the world. They are rolled in D&D just the same. So smaller weapons like short swords, crossbows will use this as their damage. Lots of spells will have, such as Acid Splash and Form Whip, will use this as their damage as well. And wizards can use a D6 as their hit dice. Finally then we got our D10s and D4s. So our D10s are numbered 0 to 9. 0 represents 10. Large weapons such as the glaive and heavy crossbow do d10 as their damage dice. Plenty of spells such as firebolt will use it as well. Fighters and paladins, rangers have 1d10 as their hit dice. And some d10s have numbered 00 to 90. These are for percentile rolls, as we've covered previously on the other side. Finally then, the d4s, not the most common dice. It's used if you're a wizard. Your hit dice is d4. Your magic missiles will often deal d4 damage. Not the most comfortable of dices to tread on, as it is a three-sided pyramid there. So yeah, rather pointy. Particular d4s have the numbers at the top referring to the result. Others will have numbers along the bottom flats, which will give you the result. But yeah, either way, the d4 is the smallest of the dice in our collection. Moving on, we have a page for the DM, how to create an immersive environment. Every sense can be utilized to make the game world more real for your players. So yeah, it's a nice little article. So it goes around telling us how we can make use of environments, how we can play non-player characters. Smell is hardest to use in D&D, but if you can pick up some specialist candles or maybe incense, that could be usable. So combat is a common thing that we are often heard, and yeah, it could be a good idea to help immerse your players through the use of 3D scenery on maps and of course miniatures for the enemies. So music and sound effects can be used. There's a official Dungeons & Dragons partner called Sirenscape, who have a subscription package that has very D&D specific sound effects. There's also the BBC Sound Effects Rewind website, where they have a complete library of online sounds for free. So you can easily stockpile a few to use in your sessions. Yeah, another thing we can do is to use lighting. It might be a good idea to play by candlelight if you're in a deep dungeon. If you're in a mystical swamp, maybe some cheap mood lighting that can be set to green for eerie glows will be pretty cool as well. So yeah, you can easily get some cheap color changing LED lights and use those to help immerse your players a bit more. So one thing I do want to note is we have a little box here about in-game items. So one of the bonuses of being a D&D adventurer reader is that we'll be giving Dungeon Masters all the help they need to bring games to life. Over the course of the magazine, we'll be providing a bunch of immersive extras, including miniatures of characters and monsters, battle maps, and inspiration tokens, helping bring players further into this fantasy world. So that is a very good idea of where they want to go with the collection, which is what I've been hoping will be covered pretty early in the collection. And yeah, really gives me a sense that they are going to really ramp up in future issues, and hopefully all these issues with dice and minimal components early on will really show their worth by the time we get to the later issues. So yeah, food for thought there for people wondering what's going to happen in the future of the magazine. Moving on then, we look at a bit of combat advice focusing on grappling and shoving. Grabbing hold of a fearsome creature or knocking it to the ground during a fight can improve your chances of victory. And yeah, here we see Gaston grappling with the beast. Pretty much. No one grapples like Gaston, rolls nat one like Gaston. Wait, what? So yeah, grappling is literally getting in close and and hands-on with your opponents. You must have one free hand to attempt to grapple. The grappling target cannot be more than one size larger than you. It must be within reach. As I mentioned, you need to get up close and personal here. If you're able to make multiple attacks, this grapple action replaces one of them. The attempt is handled by rolling off. So the grappler does a strength test, and the grapplee makes either a strength or dexterity check to try and resist, basically. The grapple will automatically success, though, if the target is incapacitated. And then we have a little bit about bonuses and importance of grappling here. So a grappled creature's speed becomes 0. It can't benefit from bonuses to its speed, but can be dragged and carried by those grappling it. Then we got a bit about how to end a grapple, and finally focusing on shoving. Much the same as grappling. You can shove targets that are no more than one size larger than you, must be within reach, replaces one of your regular attacks. Shove attempt is again a roll off, so strength check against either a strength or dexterity. And yeah, basically you can choose to either push them away or even push them down. So it reminds us here that while they are on the ground, it is easier for you to hit them if you are close, but at a distance, it's harder for you to hit them. So you will get advantage if you're close up, or disadvantage on usually ranged attacks. Moving on to our character creation pages, we take a look at age. So your D&D character ages normally as time passes in the game, although different species may age at a different speed and will live longer than others. So a top tip, if you're using D&D Beyond, you can choose your age under your characteristics. You should consult the table in this article to settle on an age that will fit your chosen culture. So yeah, it just goes through basically describing how age works, which is much like how age in real life works. But we do have a few notable differences. Notably, elves and dwarves will age a little differently to humans and are often long-lived. So when it comes to physical age, we have a little reference chart here to cross-reference what species will most likely live for how long. So we've got alphabetical order here again. So Dragonborn then, for instance, is considered an adult by their 15th year and will live to roughly 80 years. A gnome, on the other hand, is considered an adult at 40 years and live for 350 to 500. So yeah, it's important to remember your character's age in the game, as it may come with benefits and negatives. So yeah, if you're playing a rather old character, they might not be as sprightly and nimble as one younger than they are. It also goes over how certain spells will either increase your age, but you can't really decrease it. So a Ghost's Horrifying Visage action can age a character between 10 and 40 years. Other spells can prevent or reverse aging. Petrified Condition, for example, will cease your aging, but you are still considered to be affected by poisons, etc., while you are petrified. There are artifacts like the Ring of Winter, which will give you immortal. A Potion of Longevity can reduce your physical age by 1d6 plus 6 years. Just be warned, don't drink 2 or more of the Potion of Longevity, as it will reverse its effects. Right, moving on then, we got a new species to look at. These are the mighty Dragonborn. Dragonborn are strong, honourable, and eager to prove their worth among the people of the Forgotten Realms. So, Dragonborns will often stand out in most cultures and cosmopolitan cities, As the name suggests, they have very dragonic features. So this often details claws, scales, horns, and other very reptilian-like features. So they rarely stand shorter than 6 feet, as I mentioned, covered in scales in a variety of colours. They have a reptilian snout, frills that decorate the head with crest or set of horns on the heads as well. They don't have wings or tails like their dragonic ancestors. And speaking of their ancestors, they have a rather obscure origin. So in Faerun, the precise provenance of the Dragonborn species remains unknown to most, lost to the mists of time. So they came from an actual alternate parallel world known as Ebir, where they were indentured to the dragons of that realm until the spell plague occurred. During this cataclysm, the Iberian land of Timakbar was magically transported to Toril, the world of the Forgotten Realms. They renamed their new home Timantha, now the Dragonborn homeland. So, Dragonborn live in clans, and they are often very honor-bound creatures. They don't really consider family. Everyone is equal within a clan, pretty much. But yeah, every Dragonborn is aware of their own bloodline, of course. They have strict martial natures. They have different clans. So we got Dardrendrian there, or Offin Stal Egir. Wow. Yeah. Another thing to note is there are another species of dragon-like humanoids, and these are half-dragons. So a half-dragon is a polymorphed dragon that mated with a creature of a different species. So, or possibly the outcome of a magic ritual. Unlike Dragonborn, half-dragons have tails and wings as they inherit more of their powers from their parent, and they even have the potent abilities to breathe fire or, well, possibly ice. But yeah, not the nicest of creatures. They are more predispositioned to being good or evil and focusing on law or chaos, depending on their parent. Moving on, let's take a look at a class. So we're looking back at the cleric, and this is the life domain. So when you choose to walk the path of a life domain cleric, as with any cleric domain, you take on certain responsibilities. So yeah, we've covered clerics before, and this focuses more on the different domains that the clerics can follow. So we're looking here at the life domain, which is all about preserving life, saving lives, and generally looking after the common man. There are many different divine domains that a cleric can choose to gain their power from. So we've got Arcana, Death, Forge, Grave, Knowledge, Life, Light, Nature, Order, Peace, Tempest, Trickery, Twilight, and War. Finally at the bottom then, it mentions that each domain will give you extra spells, as well as ways of channeling your divinity. And each domain has respective gods. So for example, gods of Azuf, Maestra, and Corellon, Larethian are usually associated with the Arcana domain, seeking knowledge and power. So followers of Ilmater, a cleric's chosen deity, will often dictate the principles that they embody as an adventurer. So looking at our pre-generated character, Razagar there. She follows Ilmater as a god of life and a cleric of life. So, yeah. Ilmater is a god of suffering, martyrdom, and perseverance, renowned for compassion and endurance. Then we got a little bit here about how to roleplay as a cleric as well, which is a nice, handy little bit to expand on what we've already learnt. Finally then, we got a background here, and that is that of the folk hero. Scourge of tyrants and champion of the oppressed, a folk hero is renowned among the common people of the land. We all know a classic folk hero, whether it's Robin Hood, William Tell, or my personal favourite, Dick Turpin. These are the people who have made themselves a bit of a legend, be it from doing a specific deed, standing up to an oppressive tyrant, or even just robbing from the rich to give to the poor. So, how to roleplay as a folk hero? First and foremost, you are a person of the people. You are obviously very friendly. You should play positive as best you can, although it's not a good idea to sometimes play on the flip side. Yeah. At the bottom here, we've got a bit about benefits here that a folk hero can get. So, someone that comes from a hard-working rural background, you are proficient in survival and animal handling, plus you have a proficiency in artisans, tools of your choice, and a land vehicle. You also benefit from rustic hospitality feature, which means commoners will recognise you as one of their own, and will give you respect, food, and accommodation. On to our lore for the issue. We just have the one page, and that focuses on the ghouls. Deadly revenants with a taste for flesh and a poison that paralyzes. So yeah, we all know about ghouls. They are mortal creatures that are cursed into undeath. They gain, of course, the hunger for flesh and will often attack in numbers to try and bring down larger prey. According to legend, the first ghoul was an elf named Doresian, or Dorasan Zane, who worshipped an abyssal demon prince called Orcus. Subsequently, Dorasane has turned countless others into undead, each possessing the power to paralyze prey with a slash from their claws, before feasting on them with dagger-sharp teeth. So there's a variety of different ghouls. We have the Ghast. These are sort of alphas of a pack. They're more powerful, more intelligent than the other ghouls. They have very similar features and are often found to be leading packs of lesser ghouls. They can protect their pack mates from a cleric's turn undead ability, which gives them a pretty useful importance within society. Then we also have the Malrazai. They're terrifying demons with the ability to consume the corpse of a slain humanoid. This process will take 10 minutes, and temporarily assume that creature's appearance. So, ooh, not very nice. So yeah, they're a little more higher up than the Ghasts, and are have the ability to even raise other ghouls that have been taken out of a fight. So that makes them pretty more like an army general. So we're starting our brand new encounter. This is Encounter 2, Adventure 2, and Encounter 12. So This is balanced for second level players. Players can use your pre-generated characters or build their own. Playtime 1 to 2 hours. So the encounter overview. Aurum Greywind is an aspiring fashion designer who wishes to travel from rural Phandalin to Neverwinter, where he will start his business. The young man knows that the road northward is not safe for a lone traveller, so he intends to hire the local heroes who have already proven themselves. Unbeknownst to the party, nefarious forces began raising the dead to haunt the Neverwinter region in the past few weeks. Flesh-eating ghouls prowl the roads even before sunset, disrupting trade and seeding fear in the hearts of travellers. Their journey on the high road takes them to face these ghouls and save the unfortunate travellers who fell prey to those monstrous entities. So we complete this quest by delivering Aurum Greywind, and we also have a side quest there of saving the halflings Bernie and Merla. So yeah, we start off being introduced to Aurum, who's a rather distinguished looking chap. Then we start our travel along the Tribor Trail. We have ghouls to deal with. We then encounter the halfling Bernie, who had a fat rabbit, who has hidden himself away inside a box when the ghouls attacked, and he beseeches the heroes to search for his daughter Merla, who has ran off. She has a tendency to enjoy games of hide and seek and has used this to help get away from the ghouls. So in order to find her, we have to start going through the underbush where she is hiding. We do have ghouls nearby. If we make too much noise or have a light source, that will attract the ghouls. We get attacked. Once we find her and escape from the ghouls, we then find her and get her to return back. We do have to make a check in order to see whether we do successfully get her out of hiding. But when we get her back to her father, we are rewarded with 2 potions of healing. And yeah, we get our fashion designer to his destination. So we got a profile for the commoner, so this is for our halfling as well as our fashion designer. And then we got a profile for our ghouls, so really gruesome looking creatures. Right, there we have it. I'll bring everything back in and I'll give you my final thoughts on issue 12. So that was issue 12 of Dungeons & Dragons Adventurer. A rather interesting issue. We got some great new DM advice. We learned about the actual dice that we've been using. We have quite a bit on character creation, so we got ready to look at our new character that we get next issue, which is a Dragonborn Barbarian. So that'll be a fun character to start playing. We get character sheets for level 1 and 2 of that. We also get that spell booklet and the dice. Not too keen on, but the spell booklet will be quite handy for in-game reference. Other than that, we got some nice background information there in the lore section about the ghouls, which is quite nice. And some more actual character backgrounds as well. So our new mission is a pretty fun mission. It's pretty much a bodyguard mission. We got to get one guy from A to B, but we do come across an attacked traveller whose daughter has ran off into the forest trying to escape some ghouls. So pretty fun little mission. Easily a nice sit down one evening and play mission. 1 to 2 hours isn't all that long to do. So yeah, nice little level balance for level 2 characters. But if you want a challenge, you could always try going in at level 1. I probably wouldn't recommend it. Ghouls do tend to be pretty nasty. They do have intelligence as well, so they're probably one of the nastier enemies to face next to goblins, I think. Goblins are pretty intelligent as well and very tricksy to deal with. Ghouls, while they do have their base nature of being hungry all the time and hungering for flesh, they do have at least some sort of sanity from their previous life, albeit very delusional. Yeah, I think it's a really good issue. Nice lot of information inside. Really like the DM section where we're being encouraged to use the environment around us to use. So be it adding sound to our games, using lighting to effect. Yeah, really nice handy information, and it's also nice to see that we're going to be getting a few more handy extras as the collection goes on. But anywho, let me know what you thought of it in the comment section down below. Are you as excited as I am for the future of the collection? And are you definitely looking to expand your D&D collection? I've been cutting out terrain elements from my dungeon craft set that I got. So I've got a good amount cut off. I've got some houses, some dungeon pieces, some trees, etc. Enough to populate a battlefield and create various different environments. But yeah, let me know what you thought of it in the comment section down below. And we'll have a good old natter. So, I'll say thank you all very much for watching. And until next time, keep rolling those crits.